Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer and this is the second part on how to draw Rodan. And in the first part I had my flashlight from my mobile phone turned on because I thought it maybe the quality or everything would be easier to see, but it turns out that I think that it's better to turn it off because the camera is pretty good itself. So yeah, let's get into it. So now what you want to do is basically uh, make the particular areas that there's supposed to be some shadow darker. Make sure that it's better to see. Well, I made it a little bit too dark, so you can just tap a little bit with your eraser on it. That way it will get a little bit lighter. Well, let's not touch this too much anymore. So now we do want to have a lot of little scaly things going on over here. Basically start making those curved scaly lines, just like what you would expect to see on a fish. That's exactly the kind of scales that you want to give Rodan. Make sure you don't go too much, don't put in too many of them, just a fair amount, so that it still looks pretty okay. I'm not gonna touch the toes at all. So there we have something like this, and also a lot of scales going like this, by the way. You can start to add a little bit of shadow at certain places. For example, on his muscles. And maybe a little bit over here as well. On the inside of his legs. And there would also be a little bit of shadow over here, by the way. And over here, of course. Quite a bit shadow over there. And then there would be a lot of shadow over here as well. But I feel like we're already adding shadow while we are still just we still need to put in a lot of details. All right, so let's start at the bottom of this wing. Just start drawing some scales like what you would expect on a fish. You can make longer lines, you can make shorter lines, whatever you think that fits the best. So what happens on his wings is that um, they start very detailed at the bottom over here, but once you get further up into the wing, they will start to have a little bit more distance between every overlapping scale, so it looks a little bit more like a bit of scale, armored skin kind of yeah, uh, like what you would see on the back of an Indominus Rex, maybe. So down here, it's gonna be very detailed. You see a lot of lines going everywhere, and with detail, I just simply mean that um, the the curved lines are a lot shorter. The further you go up, the longer those lines will get. So it might be very hard for some people to do this because this is not, you can't really follow everything from the tutorial. You also have to add something a little bit yourself. And yeah, like I said, this might get a little bit harder for some people that are very at the very beginning stage. So you could try to copy as good as you can, but I would recommend to just use a little bit of your own imagination. And if you can't do that, just try and copy everything what you see right now. And there's not really a right or wrong way of doing this. You just do it and it will look good eventually, as long as you make it look natural. For example, I could show you a little example for. Alright, so if this is the wing, don't just do straight lines or make uh, sharp edges like this. You have to make sure that you stay with this same kind of pattern, and it has to look natural. So if you want to make a sharp edge like this, just make something like this. So you still have that same curve, but a little bit more natural. So yeah, like I said, the further you go up in the wing, the longer those lines get, and the farther they are apart from each other. You do see a little bit of detail in between every row, just a few thinner lines, but it's not really too much of a deal. You could also just leave them out. You don't really have to put those very detailed scales in. But I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys will probably get it right first try. And by the way, if you are interested in more King of the Monster Godzilla videos, especially drawing videos. That's actually what I mean. Um, I have a playlist on my channel, so you can just go to my channel and search for a playlist that's named Godzilla King of the Monster. Well, how to draw Godzilla King of the Monsters, and you will see a lot of monsters. And I haven't quite drawn every monster from the movie yet. I do want to try when I have good reference photos. So I might try to do a Muto someday. I might try to do the mammoth kind of monster, but first I do need to have a better reference. So if one of you guys who's watching this video knows a very good reference photo for a couple of those monsters, go ahead and show me. Go ahead and tell me in the comments below and actually try to show me so that I can do a tutorial on it. And I normally I draw a lot of dinosaurs, so I wouldn't say I specialize in dinosaurs, but uh, I I think that I'm the best at drawing dinosaurs for myself, because I'm better at drawing dinosaurs than I am at drawing cars or people. So I'm not claiming to no, I'm not claiming to be the best of everyone on YouTube. I'm just claiming to be I'm claiming that I think that I am the best at drawing dinosaurs instead of drawing other things. So if you have a dinosaur that you really like and you can't find any tutorials on it, you could ask me, and I might actually someday try to do a tutorial on it, because I have a whole list of requests that I haven't finished yet, but I'm still working on them. So now and then, and you still see a couple of dinosaur drawing videos come on YouTube from me, and yeah, so that's basically what you could do if you are really interested. So yeah, now we just have to kind of copy as good from the left to the right as you can, but you could also just go with your own imagination, like what I'm doing now. I'm not copying anything right now. I'm just trying to get the right shapes and everything, and I think that it might come along pretty nicely. So yeah, the farther you go up, the longer those lines get. The farther you go down, the shorter and the more closer together they are. So it's starting to look quite nice, and I think this video will not be too long, because normally when I do a video on something that I haven't really drawn too many times, the video gets to be kind of long. For example, I might have 3 or 4 parts on it, and I don't think that's gonna be the case in this video. Yeah, it's starting to look quite nice. The only thing that I regret is putting this much shadow in the body, because I'm not sure how good it will look if I would put shadow on the wings. And when you're trying to do a drawing, you always try to make it balanced. So if you have a lot of shadow on one side of your drawing, you also need that same amount of shadow on the other side of your drawing. Well, not exactly like that, but for example, you have two you have two figures that are exactly the same. You can't just put extremely dark shadows on the left one if you don't have the same amount of dark shadows on the right one, if they are exactly the same. So you need to balance it out. You need to have the same amount of shadow on the other one if they are the same. And in this case, I think that some areas of the wings would have a little bit more shadow, but I simply don't know where to put the shadows. I literally don't know. Alright. And, well, I might get a little bit of shadow over here. Not too much. Something like this. And a little bit of shadow in between the toes, so they stand out a little bit better. And maybe a couple of more of those darker scales closer to the body. And here as well. And now we can put a couple of light scales on his feet. Don't make them too dark because we still need to be able to see his feet very well. Like this. And a little bit of shadow in between the toes. Alright. And so yeah. So let's see. We're gonna get a little bit of something of a little bit of shadow going on here. Not too much, but just a little bit. So in between every layer, I'm gonna put a little bit of shading. I'm just gonna try to see how it looks. And now I have to do the same thing on this wing as well. So I don't want it to be too dark. I just want a little bit of shading to be present. Something like that. And now we can basically go into his arm. Finish that off a little bit. And then do the same thing on the other arm. Make sure they do look kind of the same. So there was a lot of shadow on the other arm, so then I'm gonna make a lot of shadow on this arm as well. Okay. And now we can shade in a little bit of the underside of his under his armpits. Just put a little bit of shading down there, just a little more than what there is right now. And over here as well. just make sure that we are capable of seeing the places where there would be a little bit more shadow. And now I'm just trying to balance it out. So closer to his body, there's gonna be more shadow than when you move away from his body. Alright, now we're gonna try and do the same thing on the other side. I might angle the paper a little bit so we can get a little bit more of well, so that it might look a little bit better. So I can move my wrist a little bit more freely instead of just using my whole arm. I mean, there are a lot of people that are pretty good at doing that. I'm just not one of them. At least not yet. I'm not at that stage where I can do everything I want the way I like it. I would love to be able to do it, but unfortunately I can't. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot more detail at the more shadowed areas than at the areas where there's gonna be a little bit more highlights. But that's also what you would expect, because when you have a dark area, you would have a lot more highlights as well. I might actually do the whole wing in this very dark pattern, because I think it kind of looks cool, in my opinion at least. But the problem is that the video might turn out to be a lot longer than I intended it to be. But I can just do it at a very quick pace. I think I can do it very quickly. It looks kind of cool. The farther you go down, the more detail there will be. And also the darker it will get. I was just putting down a few shadows. Because I'm pretty sure that those areas there would be a lot more darkness than on the other areas. I'm really sorry that I'm so quiet right now, because I'm just trying to concentrate a little bit and trying to get it right without messing up the whole drawing. That would be a shame. So yeah, there might be a lot of people that say that my drawings aren't very good. That's mostly because I'm aware of the fact that my drawings aren't very good at the moment, but that's mostly because of the fact that I'm not very good at drawing and having a time limit while drawing. So also I can't really do two things at the same time, so it's really a miracle that I can draw and talk to you guys while drawing and still get somewhat of a good result out of it. So yeah, I'm trying to improve on those aspects, but I assure you that when I have a lot more time, my drawings are a lot better normally. But yeah, we'll just have to see, and I'll just have to improve on that. So that's basically one wing down, and it looks pretty awesome. Just want to get a little bit more of a shade into this area over here, make it a little bit darker, but not too much. And basically you could also add the burning highlighted areas, what you see in the movie, because it comes out of a volcano. So you could also add that if you want, if you have a red or orange marker or a colored pencil. It might give it a very cool effect. Maybe I might even do it. Well, we'll have to see. Again, I'm putting it down at a certain angle, but it might be better for me to put it down like this so you guys can see it a little bit better. But it's basically the concept. I mean, you can't copy everything that I'm doing, so it's basically the concept. If you know what I'm doing, you could basically try to copy the style or the what's it called? Yeah, try to copy my little trick on getting the skills in on Rodan, and maybe you will get great results. And if you're gonna draw this, make sure you take your time and create something amazing, because I don't really have the time, because I have to show you guys how to draw it, and there are not really a lot of people that want to watch a video that is about 4 hours long on how to draw Rodan. So yeah, I have to make it so that it's good for everyone to see, not just for a couple of people, because I know that there are people out there that like to see how to draw videos that are about 4 hours long, but I know that there are a lot more people out there that don't really have that time. And yeah, so we have to compensate and make sure that everyone can enjoy this video, not just a couple of people. I want to make this area also a little bit darker. And put a couple of skills on it maybe, because now it just looks stupid. That looks a little bit better in my opinion. And also make sure you put down the details over here as well. And then we are about done, I would say. And yeah, you could definitely add the colors on his wing, but I'm not gonna do that because because of the time, obviously. Alright, so now all I need is my autograph and the name of the creature, and then we are about done. So alright. So yeah, if you like this video, leave a like, comment below what you think about the video and the drawing in general, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you won't miss a single video. So this was Dinosaur Drawer, and goodbye.